好，我们30秒之后开始，我们要有请我们的贵宾、主持人、我们的主讲人、语坛人，我们回到座位上喽。Okay, everybody take your seats for session 1. All right, everybody, welcome back. We're now in session 1. We're going to focus on civilian force training and utilization. 欢迎各位贵宾呢继续回到我们的会场哦。接下来呢是我们主轴场次1，我们要聚焦的呢是民力训练以及应用。那首先呢，我们就要有请我们场次的主持人为我们开场介绍主讲人。Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And to begin this session, we would like to firstly welcome our moderator, member of Hall of Society Defense Resilience Committee, to open the session and introduce our keynote speaker. 各位贵宾，让我们掌声有请全社会防卫韧性委员会的吴怡农委员为我们开场介绍主讲人。Please welcome Enoch Wu, everybody.
Thank you very much for our very energetic MC. Good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure being here with all of you. It is my why was there laughter just now? And more laughter. It is my honor to kick us off here in our very first panel. The President Lai just now in his remarks talked about Taiwan's democracy and how Taiwan's democracy did not happen by chance. But it happened, it came to fruition through the efforts of countless Taiwanese. And I thought that was a perfect context for the topic of our discussion here today. We're here to talk about civilians and volunteers and really civil society more broadly. You know, when we think about resilience, we know the smallest unit of resilience is the individual. It is true for whole of society resilience, it is true for civil defense. And we know that when disaster strikes, that individual effort, what individuals actually choose to do, are able to do, and together collectively accomplish, is the difference between a resilient society and utter chaos, between a resilient society that can recover and continue to function and tragedy. And so I think today's panel, this very first panel, is one of the most important topics for all of us here today. And we've gathered amongst us practitioners, experts with decades of experience. And it is with that background that I wish you can join me in welcoming our very first speaker. Our very first speaker is Dr. Yen, who is going to join us from the left of the stage. Dr. Yen brings with him a wealth of experience in NGO management as well as industry and tech. Okay, he's going to tell you a lot more about his work at Tzu Chi Foundation. Tzu Chi is one of the largest religious organizations, faith-based organizations in Taiwan, one of the largest disaster relief and charity organizations in Taiwan. And he will tell you, hopefully, it's not just in Taiwan. Their footprint now expands across the globe. And without further ado, I wish all of you could join me in a very big, warm welcome in welcoming Dr. Yen to the stage. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. And thank you, Elon, for your introduction. It's an honor to be invited here for a keynote speech. And I'm not going to deliver an academic speech. You know, regarding this, today's topic is talking about civilian on the stage. Okay. Thank you. So actually, I'm going to share what Tzu Chi has been done for the past many years, and For my first slide, okay. For those of you who may not be very familiar with Tzu Chi Foundation, and I would like to take a moment to introduce you about Tzu Chi. And Tzu Chi was founded by Dharma Master Zhen Yan in 1966. So this year is Tzu Chi's 59th anniversary. And Tzu means compassion. Chi means relief. So we are a compassionate relief organization. And what impressed me most is from Master's teachings, especially in this world, we inspiring compassion and gratitude in both giver and recipient. And we have 4 foundations: charity, medicine, education, and humanist culture. Together with international disaster relief, bone marrow donation, environmental protection, and community volunteerism. So we have 4 missions. Together with the other 4 is 8 footprints. And Tzu Chi's 4 foundation, we've been mapping with the SDGs, 70 SDG goals. We found we can cover most every items of the 17 SDG goals. And we are working on, especially on environment and society and governance based on Master's teachings. So we are quickly adapted to SDGs and the 3 pillars from ESGs. And this is United Nations Interagency Standing Committee cluster approach when facing the disaster relief, and it's from prevention, mitigation, preparedness, and the disaster response, and recovery and reconstruction. Actually, at Tzu Chi 4 Foundation, we can match with these 6 phases quite well. With Tzu Chi's Charity Foundation and Medical Foundation and Education Foundation and Humanistic Culture, which we have a Dai TV station. And we also have a TIMA. TIMA is Tzu Chi International Medical Association, which we have around near 9,000 medical professionals. And Tzu Chi's model, we have in Tzu Chi's words, we have 6 安. I translate the 6 placement model from in the beginning stage. We call the 安生 is we provide a physiological needs for the victims in the emergency response. Then secondly, we provide the psycho-trauma support. We call the 安心 in Chinese. And in some cases, we also provide a housing resettlement, no matter with temporary houses. And then we are helping those victims, the children in the disaster areas, to help in the schooling. And lastly, we help also to consider those victims, they probably suffer to make the living. So we also provide a vocational training in some area internationally. And lastly, is a unique part of Tzu Chi. It's Master's ideas. We also need to consider how to help to ecological restoration. So we call the 安养森林. This is a long-term actions, like something like BBB concept, Build Back Better. And I would like to focus today. What Tzu Chi is doing is we are also quite a lot of devices, innovative devices, is purely for the disaster response and relief, such as we consider the water, food, shelter, and accessory I will touch it a little bit in later on. And this is a Tzu Chi tools kits, including the water purification system and all-terrain vehicle, which helping clean up those debris from the mudslide, mostly sand and stones. And we have a mobile kitchen and water purification boat. Actually, we call it the compassion technology, composed by a group of entrepreneurs. And this is a water purification system. So we actually have many different kinds of devices, including very large scale and portable scale. And some are even smaller, people can carry on our back. And as we also demonstrate in the National Disaster Prevention Days yesterday, for President Lai in Yilan Prefecture. And one new device is even a smaller one. Even we don't need the electricity, we can do the water purification. And this is mobile kitchen, which we can use various type of energy sources in case of the disaster area has no electricity or natural gas. We can use the biomass energy. And we can prepare the 200 to 300 hot meals within an hour. And this is nutritional food for disaster relief, like an instant rice, noodle, and mixed nuts energy bar, and multigrain powder, all manufactured by Tzu Chi's Jinshi company. And especially one particular one is instant rice. We can use even the cold water to make it edible. And this is an indoor emergency shelter system. I will show you. It's a 1 minute video clip. It can be easily set up within 1 minute if everything in place. And this is an actual situation in the 2024 last year. 0403, there's a big earthquake in Hualien, and this is in one elementary school's stadium, and we quickly set up those shelters, and within 4 hours, and it's recognized by Japanese media, so it's reported become a very top search news. I even been interviewed by 4 Japanese TV stations for this topic. And this is a situation. I personally went there. And this is we even have a male and female area. And we are not only provided the emergency response, we also help the victims to fix their house. And also we have long-term construction plan. This is a permanent house reconstruction. It is up to date, it's almost completed. It's like a photo in the lower right. And there are 2 other our Tzu Chi company is a social enterprise, Da'ai TV, a Da'ai technology company. They are focused on technology from trash to treasure. So you can see that the blanket is one of their famous popular products, all recycled from recycling stations. And this is another company focused on disaster relief devices. For example, the multiple purpose foldable bed and the interlocking plastic payment. And in 2015, in the disaster in Nepal, it's actually even used to be as a temporary hospital bed, like the lower right photo. So Tzu Chi, we have recycling volunteers, and from recycling to eco products, like the suit and pants I'm wearing now today, is all recycled from our plastics. And with the income from the recycling, then we support the Tzu Chi Da'ai TV station to encourage to spread the goodness for the public. So Da'ai, you can see that we have many companies called the Da'ai. Da'ai in Chinese is great love. So it's Da'ai. And with this circle from circular economy and spiritual circle, we partner with international disaster NGOs. And we are conducting the humanitarian aid worldwide. So this is the third circle of goodness. We call it goodness circle. So in the past 30 years, we have partnered with over 30 international reputable NGOs across religions, across industries, across races. And we also actively participating in United Nations organizations and platforms. Like this week, there is a Climate Week in New York City, and we have many volunteers already gathered in New York City for participating in this Climate Week. So Tzu Chi is originated from Taiwan, and we are currently have over 16 houses, offices and contact points in 68 countries. And we provide a humanitarian aid in 136 countries and areas worldwide. And we have around 1 million volunteers worldwide and 10 million supporters and donors. And we have built more than 250 schools in 70 countries and more than 23,000 units permanent house in 18 countries. And we provided more than 19,000 times free clinics in 59 countries. More than 4.5 million people benefited from our free clinics. And you're probably curious about why Tzu Chi's disaster relief so effectively, so efficiently. Tzu Chi has been called the first group to arrive. For example, in 921, big earthquake in 1999. And people also say Tzu Chi last one to leave. Actually, in fact, Tzu Chi never leave. For example, in 0706, the typhoon Danas in 2 months ago, and Tzu Chi's response, we helped to clean up the schools, 87 schools, and our volunteers and those professional workers for the elevated workspace, we have already done the 169 houses rooftop repairment. And this is Professor Herman Lennon. He delivered a speech in 2016 in Tzu Chi's fourth Tzu Chi Forum. He flew from the United States, stayed only 4 to 5 hours to deliver the speech and go back to the United States. Why he did that? Because in 2009, he paid a special visit to meet up with Dharma Master Zheng Yan and conduct a case study on Tzu Chi. And finally, he concluded that Tzu Chi is a very unique organization who, and especially the master, he's one of the very few leaders who lead the organization with values. So this is the material he presented in the Tzu Chi Forum. So what is Tzu Chi's extraordinary ability to mobilize quickly in the face of disasters? He concluded that Tzu Chi does not seek to achieve goals. Instead, it is mobilized and driven by trying to advance a set of core values. So it's not driven by task, it's driven by master's teachings. And how does it cope so effectively with the high degree of uncertainty, chaos, confusion, and stress by large-scale disaster? He said, Tzu Chi is not driven by plan. It's driven by commitments based on its core values. So inside Tzu Chi, we have two types of volunteers. One is certified volunteers, which will take 2 to 3 years training program. This type of volunteers we call the commissioner. So commissioner, in my interpretation, is commit mission people. So this is commissioner inside Tzu Chi. So that's all I have. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much to Dr. Yan. Dr. Yan, would you please remain on the stage and take your seat for the panel? 非常谢谢严委员，直接请委员在台上就座加入我们的座谈。And for the panel, we'd like to invite our moderator and also 3 panel speakers to take your seats on the stage. 我们有请基督教芥菜总会全球防救灾处吴炳汉副处长到台上来就座。To join us for the panel, please welcome Benson Wu, Deputy Director, Mustard Seed Mission Global Disaster Reduction and Relief Division. 如果有需要的话，请记得带口译设备到台上来。And Bert Skinke Mosen, EU Civil Protection Expert, Federal Agency of Technical Relief。有请德国联邦技术救援署、欧盟民防专家到台上来，一同加入语谈，以及内政部消防署肖焕章署长 ，and also Director General 焕章肖 National Fire Agency, Ministry of the Interior. Please join us on the stage. 有请。如果有需要的话，要请您记得带口译设备哦。Please bring your interpreting device with you. And to moderate the panel, back to the moderator, Enoch Wu. 我们再次把时间交还给主持人吴一农委员。
Thank you very much, Mr. Yen, for your comprehensive presentation. I know it would take more than a full day or perhaps an entire week for us to fully understand the scope and the breadth of Tzu Chi's operations. In the limited time we have today, I wanted to make sure our panelists here also have a chance to share with us everyone's unique experiences, especially as it relates to civilian mobilization. We are all here because in crisis, in order to recover, in order to adapt in uncertainty, we need all hands on deck. And that means not just government, not just NGOs, not just faith-based organizations, but everyone, every community, every family, every individual. And so I think for the first part of this panel, I'd like to turn to our representative, Mr. Benson Wu from the Mustard Seed Mission. Maybe just following Mr. Yen's presentation, especially his last slide, where he talked about what drives his volunteers, right? This commitment, not necessarily to skills or plans, but to values, to belief, to the spiritual aspect of life. Maybe you can help us understand, at Mustard Seed, are your volunteers similarly driven by faith? Or do you recruit, maybe talk us through your recruitment strategy, your training methodologies, in order to achieve your mission, which is disaster response, disaster relief. We all know here that it's not just enough to turn out bodies and people, we need to turn out people with specific skill sets. So maybe talk us through how you think about mobilization, how you mobilize, how you train, and how you match capabilities with what's needed on the ground, if you could share with us. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. 可以用中文，用中文可以 ，OK。那我就使用中文哈。那谢谢主持人还有各位伙伴的参与。那我是基督教芥菜总会的副处长吴炳汉。那我这边就简单的分享一下，刚刚也听到执行长的一个分享。那芥菜总会是1952年是由美国的一个孙理莲宣教士成立的。那在台湾致力在原住民的一个工作，包含了教育、医疗等等的工作。那所以芥菜总会一直是致力在于社区工作。那这10年来，因为刚刚总统也有提到，因为我们看到气候变迁的议题，台湾也面临到很多的灾害，台风、地震、土石流等等，所以这10年芥菜总会开始投入了做灾害的预防、防灾的工作。那我们期待的是，台湾其实这几年来也在推所谓的社安网、社会安全网。那芥菜总会希望可以把社安网这件事情落实到社区里面，所以芥菜总会在推行的是社区安全网。那我们的对象很不一样，我们可能就是社区的民众，那社区的邻长、里长，那社区的组织，那还有所谓的互助的团体等等的，一起来成立这样的一个社区的安全网络。那我们希望透过这个网络的这样的一个运行，让社区能够互助，这是我们最主要的。因为我们在过去的几次经验，包含执行长刚提到04、03的地震，那台南的今年的01、21的地震，还有丹纳斯风灾，我们深深体验到一件事情：社区必须要自己靠自己，互相帮助，才能在第一时间马上能够有那个复原力。所以芥菜总会在这10年来一直在推行，就是虽然我们这几十年来一直在强调社区韧性，但我们更相信的是家庭的韧性，对，从家里面做起。所以 社区防灾这件事情，社区韧性这件事情是要从底下往上的，而不是从上面的政策制度下来的。那我们希望是可以从社区民众自发性的。所以当希望他们进到所谓的 shelter 里面的时候，当他们成为一个受灾的民众的时候，接下来总会在这个过程也希望他们可以从一个受助者的角色变成助人者的角色，而不是只有政府，不是只有 NGO 进到灾区里面去帮助他们。第一时间他们必须要能够帮助自己。所以这10年来，接下来总会不断的在很多的原乡的部落、很多的社区里面，在推动这样的一个组织、这样的一个训练。当灾害来的时候，你怎么第一时间没有靠任何的资源帮助你的时候，你的社区、你的邻居，你怎么样去面对这件事情？所以，包含了，所以我们是从家的安全、家的恢复、照顾到社区的，所以这个是接下来总会一直致力于在推行的部分。对。
Thank you very much， 谢谢。那我们待会回来再回来跟这个 Benson Mr. Wu 请教。Our next panelist that I wanted to introduce everyone to comes from Germany, a very unique organization called THW. This organization is unique for both its mission and its personnel makeup. The mission, as its name suggests, has a technical focus. I think anything from operating large water pumps to respond to flooding, to stabilizing structures post-disaster, anything technical assistance related you could think of. The other part of its uniqueness is that it's made up primarily, if not entirely, of volunteers. And our panelist today, Mr. Bert Schenkel-Mommsen, himself is a volunteer of THW. So I think, if I may, Mr. Schenkel-Mommsen, if you can share with us, because you're a federally funded and mandated organization, you have to turn out when you're needed, not only when you can or if you like to, right? So you have a requirement to show up, yet you consist mostly of volunteers. So maybe share with us, in this context, how your organization is able to maintain that level of standard, uniform standard nationally and around the year, and to mobilize. And how you think about recruitment, how you do training, all towards that end. And one question that is close to our minds is also, in a structure like this, how do you allocate your resources, specifically budget? Because you look very different from a typical government agency. So over to you.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, thanks for being here, for being introduced that kind, and I hope that I'll be able to answer the question and to represent and to show what THW means. THW, Federal Agency of Technical Relief. There's also, as you mentioned, the word and the specific technical, but of course that's not all. We are not only technical, but it's one of the central points when THW was founded in 1950. So after the Second World War, there was, of course, some rebuilding needed, some civil defense came in mind, and so THW was founded 75 years ago. And as you mentioned, there is a lot of the THW staff or the THW members, they are volunteers. These volunteers, about 88,000 spread all over Europe, are doing normally the daily work in missions or when things have to be done. But of course, volunteers are nothing without someone who manages and supports and gives the surroundings. So there's of course some professional staff, about 2,500 spread over Europe in different stages of the organization. First of all, the headquarters, that's from Bonn, and then we have got some 9 regional or super-regional stages representing federal states and going down to 69 regional offices, and then 669 local branches, and those local branches are staffed only by volunteers. And that's also the place where most of the training, the basic training takes place. So becoming a federal THW member, you have to make a baseline or base education, and that is normally done by volunteers. So those going on missions, doing the hands-on on chain saws, on rescue dogs, make then the base education. All to be mentioned, central point of THW and its functioning is the THW law. That's a federal law that makes that gives the target of what THW should do or has to do. It's civil defense, and it is on behalf of the German government going abroad on missions. As you mentioned, some of the missions are going worldwide, and to do some on request on local authorities inside Germany to support the answer of or the on request of something to be done. So becoming a member, you will get a baseline training, and then you will be able to go into one of 16 specialized groups, and those are representing special capabilities inside Germany. For example, you can have some water pumping, you have got some oil taking out of the water, you have some rescue dog handling groups, and some others not mentioning here because I think that's not the main point. Saying rescue dogs and your words of fate in the introduction to another panelist, being here today is something like fate for me because I had a dog, as is written in the paper, and the dog was interested in doing something, and I was thinking, rescue dog could be something for me to do, and I did some search engine using rescue dog in my hometown, and that showed me the THW in my hometown in Kiel in the north of Germany. So I started becoming a rescue dog handler. I was trained rescue dog handling in the local branch by volunteers in the THW mind, but of course by professionals. The man who trained me in rescue dog handling was he was a dog handling guy in the German federal Zoll. I don't know so he was there doing some dog handling as a profession, but was able to give his experience into the training of the local rescue dog handling. And that is, I think, one of a very important thing, how THW is going around all the years with 88,000 person, people, men, women, starting from 18 years old, you are able to become a THW member, that people having a professional work bring their knowledge into that what THW opens as the different groups, the different capabilities inside Germany. That's the first focus we always have. So we are doing the civil defense, all that inside Germany, but of course we can go abroad, and that is the second decision one has to make, being a member or becoming a volunteer at THW, first to go into THW and then to think about if it is something to go on international missions. And that opens the door for another training, for another mind opening to enter all the UN system, the EU system, to do some international trainings, and of course to go on missions. And since 1953, the THW has been on something about 2,500 missions worldwide. Me, myself, I've been to some countries around, to Indonesia, to Philippines, Nepal, something more far away, but you can go to missions if you're ready to go. Of course, you have to give, or you have to receive the okay by your company you are working for. That makes it a little bit easy because the THW law says if someone wants to go or has to go on mission, then no one can take him or her back, because it's a duty to go on mission inside Germany and also abroad. And normally then there will be a refunding for those going, that those who spend the money to pay the worker inside their company, that they get back the money. That leads me to the funding thing, the funding question, of course, because what does it all cost? 88,000 volunteers, 2,500 professional staff, 669 local branches, some more offices, of course, a lot of technical vehicles, a lot of equipment, and the budget in the time that I am involved in THW, that's a little bit more than 20 years, raised from 90 million euros. I'm sorry, I didn't make the translation to the dollar, to at the moment 400 million euros. Of course, because there has to be some re-establishment of buildings, but of course there's also staff to be taken and renewed. And of course there are some more things to be done and some more things to keep in mind, so the budget was becoming a little bit more. But at the end, being able to respond quite fast, and quite fast means that, for example, the international teams like the search and rescue or the water purification, they have to be able to leave Germany 6 hours after someone said, okay, go. And this, of course, 6 hours late after someone said to go is quite a short time period. So normally those who are going on international missions always have somewhere in their flat or in their house some area where all the stuff is already prepared. I think everyone who's going on missions has some place where the stuff is prepared, because otherwise you're not able to go. So 6 hours, and the decision, of course, as it is a governmental organization staffed mainly by volunteers, has to be done, of course, for international missions through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and of course through the Ministry of Interior, because we are subordinates of the Ministry of Interior, so it is streamlined and there's a clear SOP how THW is going abroad. And yeah, I think at the end it's a quite interesting thing to do. And of course you need people, and you need the people keeping at you. And I think THW in this makes a real good job, because it's staffed by volunteers, but it's also professionals, and it's a real good combination of all. Thank you.
Can you tell us what you do for a day job? Can you tell us what you do for your day job?
Sorry. Yeah, I work at the university in Kiel at the north of Germany in a computing and data center. So it's, well, sometimes it's good being on mission that you have someone from the IT already on the ground. The
Thank
others
you.
say.
Well, I don't know if everyone in the room caught this as well, but I noticed something that you had mentioned. You know, you talked about professionals, and you know, the word professionals and being a volunteer are not mutually exclusive, and it's very clear from THW's example that you know, the bulk of your 90,000 force are both volunteers and professionals. And so I do recognize from one of my trips to Germany, you do make a point of distinguishing between full-time colleagues and volunteer colleagues, but you're all professionals. Something else that maybe folks in the room, maybe it registered with you. I'm a numbers guy, try to be. You're an IT guy. 400 million euro for a force of 90,000 people. We're talking about 4,000 euros per year, per person. That is a very, very lean operation for what you just described, both national capability and international capability. So I think maybe we can come back later on to talk about that. And finally, but not least, you know, our Director General Jack Xiao. Director General Xiao leads our fire agency. He's a 40-year veteran of our fire services. He's led our training center in Zhushan, which many of you have been to. He led the Taichung City Fire Department before taking on his current role leading Taiwan's national emergency response, overseeing our firefighting, our search and rescue, and our emergency medical services. So that is quite a broad portfolio for any agency. And I thought it would be a great idea to ask Director General Xiao to share with us, given that broad portfolio, given the diverse set of situations that you are required and expected to take on, how you look towards volunteers, right? The roles that volunteers do play or can play in helping to augment your capacity, and how you think about standardization, a theme that we spoke to earlier between your full-time firefighters and your volunteers, and how you build trust and you continue to keep them engaged. So over to you, sir.
Yeah, it's among here and for the volunteer in Taiwan, you use a lot of volunteer. As you know, for professional fire, we have 18,000 around Taiwan and 3 times of volunteer fire. So we have 50,000 volunteer fire. So it's quite important for the human resources during emergency. So the first line, when something wrong, we run by professional, then volunteer fire also attend the issue. And also for the joint training is an issue, we try to do that. As Wulong has mentioned, we have our training center in Nantou. So we try to set up the training center, both for professional fire and also for volunteer fire. It will be easy for the language and also for the communication and the experience sharing. Yeah, so the platform will provide not only in central government, but also for the local fire station and also for volunteer fire. And we use a lot of rescue resources. That means when something wrong in Taiwan, we use not only for professional, but also for volunteer. And now we take the lesson from Japan. So the teachers are really volunteer. Yeah, we now asked by our Mr. Liu, she asks us to push DRV as quickly as we can. So we have 65,000 DRV now. And end of this year, it will be 100,000 DRV. So it's a manpower. It's kind of bottoms-up consideration. We cannot offer by government, and we need a lot of human resources from general public. From the very beginning for DRV, our general public will face that, but they don't like to attend the training. But now the number is increasing, both for the climate change. There are so many disasters happening in Taiwan. So our people must face that. Then the other is for the geopolitical issue. So our people will want to join the training courses. That means today's training courses. And the courses were standardized for general public. So it will be easy to speak same language for DRV. And our president, hears us, we will train 400,000 DRV around Taiwan. So we hope we can keep the training continue and the capability will be increasing for the bottoms-up consideration. And the other part we share learn from FEMA, United States. So Katie and Sean, they come by agency and they provide trainer in Taiwan. So now we have more than 1,000 instructors in Taiwan. So these 2 years, we trained 200 teams for critical infrastructure. And it's a 4 years project. So end of this 4 years, it will be 400 teacher team, Taiwan Community Emergency Response Team. It also means Taiwan Company Emergency Response Team. It will be easy for the controlling during crisis or emergency happen at critical infrastructure. And the Spirit of America also support us for the community. They will work with Jai County for the community emergency response team. So it's a kind of bottom-up consideration. How can we force our basic requirement during emergency? As you know, last month we suffered with a major typhoon come from west. So it brings us a heavy damage and a lot of elder generation. They face that and they can not get assistance. So that's why we will set up a center that means the human resource will be at that center for township level. When something wrong at township level, all the resources both from disaster relief volunteer and also for the substitute in Taiwan. Mr. Liu push that. So for the substitute is also a manpower during crisis. And substitute similar to Army. So we train our Army and also for substitute. For the Army substitute in Taiwan, they take EMT1 for the emergency medical training, and also for the disaster volunteer, disaster relief volunteer training for 2 days. That means all the substitute and our Army can play the role during emergency and crisis, and they share EMT1 and DRV. So it will be easy for the coordination and also get a mutual assistance during crisis. So it's a way we are trying our best. And for Tzu Chi also a very good foundation in Taiwan during emergency. When I'm fire chief Taichung, their MRT collapse, and for the force and hot noodle come from Tzu Chi within 3 hours. And Tzu Chi also sends a coordinator to Central Emergency Operation Center. So we share the disaster area and the disaster information for Tzu Chi. They can send the information right away on the site. So they will dispatch their volunteer on the site and also for hot food on the site. So it will be easy for the coordination and cooperation with Tzu Chi. And for Tzu Chi, they also provide the DRV training courses. DRV, who they take the DRV training, more than 10,000 come from Tzu Chi Foundation. So it's a very good foundation and a very good support for Taiwan now. And we also work with international society, both of all from Japan, then we also get assistance from United States FEMA, and now we come from HAIMA. It's a Hawaii, it's an issue. So we learn the lesson from that, and we share the lesson for each other. It will be easy for our ongoing. And now this time we invite THW. So THW volunteer training courses, we hope the cooperation will continue, and of course we hope we can conduct into Taiwan. As you know, the training center in Nantou. So it will be a place for joint training, joint exercise, and joint operation for emergency management. For joint training, so these are 2 weeks. Their team come from Philippines and also come from Fiji for urban search and rescue training. And we also invite instructors from Turkey and also come from Singapore. So next time we hope we will invite the instructor from Germany, UK, United States, Japan. It's kinds of consideration for international platform for interchangeable. It will be easy when we take training, then Philippines and then Fiji team go to the night one exercise, just 2 days, and it means a joint exercise. So that's why we can speak same language, and then for the real world, similar to Turkey earthquake, then we on the same side, we can play the same role and share for each other. So it's consideration that Taiwan has developed. And our government tried to set up an war alliance for disaster management in Taiwan. We hope we may invite your country come and join with our alliance. That means we will share the joint training, joint exercise, and joint operation. And in Taiwan, we have a lot of information we will like to share with your country. And we hope we share our lesson we have learned, and we hope we learn from your lesson. It's a kind of cooperation. We hope that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Director General Xiao. Director General Xiao alluded to several community-based programs. He mentioned DRV, which stands for Disaster Relief Volunteers. He talked about CERT, which is Community Emergency Response Team. And these are community-based programs that the National Fire Agency has launched and is managing in collaboration with civil society as partner training centers. On top of that, as I understand, the National Fire Agency or the various fire departments also have augmented volunteer firefighters and volunteer EMSs that assist the full-time firefighters on the job. And so later, when perhaps Director General Xiao can also share with us shortly, the makeup of these volunteers that ride along on fire engines and in ambulances to assist the full-time corps. We heard from the three panelists and the speaker, each with a very different model in how they engage civilians, engage volunteers in their work. There is a question I want to pose to all of them, and perhaps we can start with Mr. Yen and then work our way down the aisle. This question has come up amongst our partners around the world, amongst NGOs, in our discussion about our pain points, in the discussions about our common challenge. And a theme keeps coming up, which is this issue of a generational gap when we think about volunteers. And so, if I may ask each speaker to share with us first the volunteer makeup of your organization, the demographic, if you're okay to share. But then on top of that, if you share this challenge that we're seeing around the world, how your organization is addressing that demographic challenge. Are you seeing an aging base in your volunteers? And if so, what are you doing to address it? What are the programs you're running to broaden, to introduce yourself to the younger generations, to bring them into the fold, and importantly, keep them engaged, keep them passionate about the mission, and help them find meaning in the work that they do with you? So I hope that's not too big a topic. You have 30 seconds each. No, I'm kidding, please. So maybe 5 minutes each, and then we can open it up to the floor for questions.
Okay. Yes, indeed, it is getting more challenging for many, including Tzu Chi, many religions, groups. Yeah, it's unfortunately, Tzu Chi's volunteers, we are actually based on, those mostly Tzu Chi volunteers are aged. That is our founder, Dharma Master Zheng Yan, she value very much. Like we recycle those trash to turn it become a treasure, So that is something we value, those aged people. So even though we did facing the challenge for recruiting those young talent, young volunteers, and however, we have abundant aged volunteers. So that is we believe it's actually it's more important how do you motivate them to become very active volunteers. And this is I would say is a charisma from our Dharma Master Zheng Yan. So for example, I would say that for our recycling volunteers, I have seen many times when they are in the conversation with Dharma Master Zheng Yan, they say they want to do the recycling work till the last breath of their lives. So they don't need long-term care. They want to take care of others, even though they are 70 years old or 80 years ago. So I would say this could be the best long-term care program in the world. So that's one of my feedback.
刚刚主持人提到的问题，确实是我们现在面临的挑战。那芥菜总会现在全台湾大概有快将近400个员工，但我们员工的背景大部分是 social worker， 就是社工。那我刚刚提到的，我们在社区里面做培力的，跟大家分享一个例子。我上个礼拜我们到台东的一个东河乡都兰社区去做社区培力，我发现一件事情，来上课来培训的平均年纪在65到70岁之间。那我就想一个议题，这对我们来说是一个训练者来说是一个很大的挑战。到底发生灾害的时候，他要先救自己呢，还是他要去帮助别人呢？那后来我们就开始做了一些调整，我们发现一件事情， 在社区里面，在部落里面，我们开始教这一些比较年纪大的人说，发生灾害的时候，你先想办法保护你自己跟家人就好。当你可以做到这件事情的时候，你再想办法去帮助别人。但我们会做一件事情，希望他的这个家里面的年轻人可以回来到自己的家乡去接受训练。那我们怎么样去吸引年轻人回来？其实我们会告诉社区一件事情，就是当发生灾害的时候，你最亲的亲人，他通常是在社区里面是最容易受灾的人。对，那如果你不回来一起参加训练，你不回来一起跟他们一起了解社区的状况的时候，当发生灾害的时候，光靠这些长者可能是没有办法的，而且你也没有办法第一时间联络到他们。所以你怎么样去建立跟这些你是社区的这些亲人长者，平常建立什么样的机制？发生灾害的时候，你们怎么去联系？那至少长者跟这些年轻的孩子虽然在外面工作，但是至少你们都有接受过训练的时候，至少知道发生灾害的时候，你知道他会去哪里。我觉得这个是比较重要的，你知道去哪里找得到他。那这个是我们现在确实面临到一个，我觉得算是一个危机啦，就是从这5年来开始，我们发现每一次在培训的社区的场次，几乎来的最年轻的我看过的大概是50几岁，对，50几岁，所以这是会有一个断层的。那这也是接下来总会在这样子的一个培训里面要去思考，怎么样把这样的一个断层把它连接起来。那愿意让年轻人投入这件事情，发现这件事情跟我是有关系的。而不是好像这个是我社区的事情。那我想，现在目前台湾的现状，在做社区工作的人，会愿意在自己社区帮忙的，多半都是退休的人，对，因为他平常就是有很多的工作要做，所以，慢慢的这个世代交替是接下来会去思考的，怎么去帮助年轻人，甚至年轻人他不见得一定要回到他自己的社区去帮助，比方说他在外地读书或者在外地工作，那我们就是训练他来帮助他现在目前居住地的这个地方的这个社区，未来面对灾害的时候他怎么做？对，那从这部分开始去影响他回到自己的社区或者部落里面去，我想这是我们可以开始第一步可以开始做的。谢谢。
Thank you, Mr. Wu, and over to you, Mr. Schinkel-Memsen.
Yeah, thank you. Germany has, as far as I can remember from being a child and growing up, a real huge voluntary society in the different areas, starting from firefighting, being volunteers, from Red Cross Society, being volunteers. In sports, there's a lot of volunteers. But of course, we are facing, as you mentioned, I don't know if it's really a generation gap, but we are facing some getting lower of the people being able to do that. I don't know if it means because of they have to work longer, they have to fulfill their duties, they're getting less people. I don't know what exactly it is. THW, of course, as I'm there for more than 20 years now, there has been some mind changing, I think, and we have to do something. It's not always that someone's going to a search engine because he wants to do rescue dog handling and comes to THW as I did, but there has to be the presence of THW in the society, so people are coming to them. As I said, THW, you can become a volunteer when you're 18 years old. Beside that, there is also some activities in younger age groups, so they can start from 10 years old. They're not in all local branches, but there is something like youth work out of THW. Don't take me that exactly when I tell you about 10 or 15 years ago, but there was some mind changing that there has to be addressed more women to be active in THW, because I think that is as always a huge resource. That is not only that it can be used, but it has to be used, because this is a very important part of society always. So women getting into THW more and more, that's raising numbers. I think at the moment we are about 10% of THW is, as far as I remember, about it, they are women. It's already, or it's still not enough, but it's getting a bigger amount who are engaged. There's of course some marketing happening. So as I told you that THW was founded in 1950. This year we have our 75th anniversary. So there are always some marketing activities going through bus stations, metro stations, going on cinema marketing, going on wherever you can imagine. People are addressed that there is something that is called THW. What is it? Okay, let's try. Let's go on the website, get informed. And of course, we are open for people from all countries. So if someone comes to Germany, like for example the Ukraine crisis, there are a lot of people who have fled from Ukraine to Germany, and THW is open to those people to be active in THW, to do some voluntary activities. So I think, that is quite a verity where we are still up to date, not facing any staff problems. From my local branch, I know that there is something like a waiting list for people coming into the possibility to become a THW member. So that is obviously quite efficient at the moment. But of course, that does not mean that you can lean back and say, okay, we are ready for the next 15, 20 years. But you always have to keep in touch with keeping the people. As I said, there is the professionally staffed person in THW who, from my side or from my view of a volunteer, doing a real good job. They just take care of everything, and they are in the background, so we can go on missions, we can do our duties on the ground. So this is, of course, very important that there's just a hand in hand with the professional workers getting some salary for what they are doing, and the volunteers who are not getting any salary for what they are doing. So, of course, that is also crucial, beside all the different things I just mentioned. I hope that shows a little bit. Thanks.
Dr. John Shao?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, for the generation gap is actually is a problem for Taiwan now, especially for the volunteer fire. For the volunteer fire is my age. It will be young generation, but we will get older, and the young one maybe they don't like to join this organization. That's why we focus on so many skills. You may come in and we will provide the training, and it's kind of capability and ability, just like the EMT one, who they want to learn EMT one in open society. You need to spend 8,000 NT dollars, and EMT2 you will be 30,000 NT dollars. And if you join with us, we will provide the training courses for you. So it's where we consider about the issue. How can we work with a young generation? And we also work with a substitute. As you know, the substitute will be served for 1 year, and within 8 years, we hope that we provide the substitute at their hometown. When they serve for the fire station for their hometown for 1 whole year, within 8 years, something wrong in the fire station, we invite them back and for the recruit training. Yeah, it's kind of consideration now. And after 35 years old, they will retire. And within 35 years old, we will work with them very frequently. So we hope when they are retired from a substitute, they will become a volunteer fire. It's our imagination. I hope it will come true. Yeah, so we are doing now for the one substitute, and we provide a service as a local, their hometown. And when they serve for that, it's kind of a cooperation with a community, and they hope we share with the community. They like their own hometown. So we hope it will be longer for the volunteer fire. And we have another group for the rescue organization, volunteer organization. Yeah, they are young one. So it's just mention. I just mentioned. They have some skill. They have some training. So the young generation, you want to learn. Yeah, when you provide some skill, it's different from the general public. You will like it. So we try to provide this kind of training, and most of them, they come with some expert and some skill. Is the other way of the rescue volunteer organization. And now we provide the DRV. Yeah, as Mr. Liu mentioned, DRV, there is no age limitation. The youngest one for DRV is 11 years old. The oldest one is 90 years old. So there are no limitation for age. So general public want to join with us is the way we are doing for that. So now the number is increasing. And there are also no female or male limitation. Actually, 60% come from female. So female want to learn how to protect themselves, their family. So we consider about the way, how can we share with female as a volunteer, and how can they protect themselves is the way we are doing now. Thank you.
Thank you, Director General Xiao. I want to give the audience here a chance to also ask questions, but there is a job that has fallen upon all of us, and this requires our collective effort here in the room. So I wish everyone here can take this as seriously as I do. We have exactly 21 minutes until the end of this panel. And not only that, I want you to recognize that there's another panel going on next door. And so our job is to get everyone out of here at 12 o'clock sharp, so that you are not stuck at the end of the lunch line. Okay? So this is in our common interest. I hope we can be aligned in that. And to that end, maybe we can take 3 questions from the audience. Please help make it crisp and short. And then if it's directed at any of our speaker, please let us know. And then we'll take 3 questions and see how many rounds we can get through. Does that work for everyone? All right, terrific. So any questions for our experts here on stage? If not, I'm happy to keep going. Yes,
you
ma'am.
can ask questions in both Chinese or English. And also let us know who you are before you ask question. Thank you.
We have here
我们请等我们的同仁递上麦克风，介绍一下您自己，用中文或英文都可以提问，谢谢。
Thank you. Hi, I'm Yawei Chao. I'm from Naumann Foundation. We are a German political foundation in Taiwan. We have office here. So I have actually 2 questions. The first one is I very much agree with what the expert says, that it's quite difficult to get more people from different demographic to the organization of civil defense. And I would like to know whether you have any suggestion to get you guys know in the residents in your communities, because in Taiwan here the problem is, if you're not those group of people who hears about this topic, civil defense topic, then actually if you're just like normal citizens, then it's difficult to know where I can find these kind of organization and get the help. And that really depends on maybe the Baruf chief in your community, Li Zhang, is willing to provide you any information. So maybe I was wondering whether you have any suggestion. And second question is, this year we collaborate with Awakening Foundation, that is one of the very prestigious women's rights organization here in Taiwan. And we found the problem that women's role is largely missing in Taiwan civil defense policy. So, but women participants of all the civil defense organization, I think it's 70%. So I was wondering whether you have any suggestion to make women's role become more visible, and how to adjust your programs that can invite and make women to find their active roles there. That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's take 2 more.
Hi, I'm Ruth Bradley-Jones. I'm the British representative here in Taipei. And that brilliant lady stole my question, or one of them. I've got 2 though. I was in Elan yesterday and was really struck by looking at several hundred volunteers and emergency response groups, and how few of them were women. So what is happening in Taiwan to make sure that all those excellent women groups are being involved in emergency response plans? And my second question is, do you find that willingness to engage in this work is patchy around the island? And therefore, if it is, how do you make sure that you're encouraging all different parts of Taiwan to engage effectively? 谢谢。
Really?
Please wait for the microphone so that interpreters
Resilient
can hear
and
you.
innovation. So, as a member of CAPRI, 谢谢这个刘部长，还有这个各位召集人跟 panelists。我今天学习到很多。我想要问的问题是从台湾的角度来看，这个一农，我们台湾跟全世界的这个标准来说，我们现在最欠缺的是什么？最需要加强的是什么？从一个架构的角度，可不可以跟我们大家解释一下？It's translated already, right? So, okay, thanks.
那我们就从
I think the question is for director and you, no moderator.
Yeah, I try my best. Yeah, for female part, yeah, female play an important role for their family, and they would like to protect their family. So when we share them with protection and EMT, BLS, basic life safety, life rescue, yeah, BLS, that is considered for them it would be better, and also how can they put out the fire. So we use a lot of female resources for the prevention, fire prevention propaganda. So actually we have 8,000 prevention, fire prevention, group from female. So they would like to join with this group and share the information for the family who needs. And they also like to protect themselves. So it's a female group for the volunteer fire. Is the way we are doing now. And the number is increasing also. And the other way, the DRV. DRV provides them the basic rescue skill and put out the fire. And how can you provide a service for the shelter? Yeah, it's a way. Yeah, we provide for that. So is that 2 weeks ago, there's group from female group. 80% of the attendees for DRV training come from female. So I believe it will be a good way for female to join the effort for the self-rescue and the mutual assistance. Is a way for that. And for the thing we are thinking about, how can we get improved for the disaster, or what kinds of skill we need to learn or study. For the training center now, we provide the training courses up to now. Actually, I'm the fourth director of training center. I travel around the world and take the reference from the world. So we build that. After 15 years training courses, we knew the training is not only come from Taiwan. We need international assistance and recommendation. You know, disaster is happen around the world. It's not only in Taiwan, but in the United States, Philippines, and Japan, and other countries. So we want to learn the lesson from you, and we learn the lesson and provide the training. Actually, now the training courses we try to get the lesson from National Fire Protection Association. So the training course, now we are applying for the accreditation from IPSET. So it's kind of the training, not only for Taiwan, but also means the job performance requirement. Is the way we are doing now. So we try our best to meet with the international society and lesson from them. It will be good for Taiwan, even though we are not a member of UN. But all the standard for the infrared, for the emergency rescue, we totally follow the infrared. So that's why the Turkey mission at earthquake, then when we send our team at Turkey, and then United States team come on that, so it will be easy to speak same language. As I mentioned before, speak the same language is quite important. So now we try our best to follow the same standard, international standard, or the SOP as possible as we can. That's the way I mentioned for the Philippine Fiji training. Yeah, we invite instructor from the world is the way we are seeing for that. Not only come from Taiwan, but also from the international and worldwide. That's why we try to set up the World Alliance for Disaster Management. Thank you.
Or did you want to share about how you approach women recruitment and participation?
Yes, I have to take the opportunity to clarify that this 10% women participation is in THW, which is technical-led organization. I don't know what exactly the amount of women are in other voluntary areas. I'm quite sure, I'm totally sure that they are even higher, but I wanted to emphasize that THW recognizes by looking at this generation gap that the women are real, not a target, but someone to include into the work to be done in that technical-led area. So this is just, I think, just to emphasize that normally we shouldn't make any difference between women, men, because everyone has his capability, his or her capability, and that should be engageable in society because it's needed, and it's even more needed when there's something happening. Situations like we are talking about, that there's something like an earthquake or a tsunami. It doesn't at the end matter at all who's delivering or who's doing the help. There has to be someone to do the help. And by recognizing this first responder thing, everyone is just a little bit, am I able to do this first responder? Am I able to reanimate a person, or do I able to stop bleeding or something like that? The question is not, am I able? The question is, what do I need to do it? And this is exactly the same over the whole society. It's not about thinking, can I do it? It's just do it and give the trust of those who are in responsibility, that the person who is willing to do something, that the person has received trust, because that's what the person is living from. That's a philosophy I take from my rescue dog handling, because the person who trained me just gave me the point that put trust into the dog, because that's what the dog is living from and doing his job. And that is, I think, for the rescue dog can be somehow transferred to interacting with human and the human. That trust is that what's needed to engage and to give power to people to be able to deliver what they have got as competences. And yeah, so probably that as my statement on that.
Mr. Wu, would you like to?
我这边稍微分享一下，其实我想在灾难管理里面有很多不同的阶段，那可能有搜救、有救护，也有后面的可能在避难所的一些服务。那不同的阶段，它其实会所需要的不同的人力也好，年龄层也好，对象也好，我想都不同。那以芥菜总会的专业来说，我们比较做的是 shelter 的部分，就是在避难所的照顾跟后续的一个重建的复原。那就我们的经验观察到，其实在这个部分，在社区里面的志工多半其实都是女性。对，那因为他们可以在避难所里面做关怀、做照顾的工作，那所以多半是女性。那如果在避难所里面可能需要搬物资的部分，那可能就必须要比较中年的，因为老人家没有办法。所以其实我们在做这样的一个组织分工的时候，会依照他的年龄层，不同的年龄层去做不同的一个内容的训练。那再来，其实刚谈到，其实女性其实对他来说不见得少哦，因为在社区里面会出来可以来培训的，其实我们班的比例是女性比例是比男性多的。对，那再来第二个我想回忆就是刚刚提到，就是说 觉得台湾应该要注意什么样的一个事情？我觉得最重要的，在我们在一线的观察跟社区里面跑这么久，我觉得是危机意识。我觉得台湾民众的这个危机意识的提升是非常重要的。我举一个例子，就是还记得几个月前的俄罗斯的海啸吗？台湾有发海啸警报，那我就在观察我们的跟其他国家的不同。那日本是往高处跑，那台湾是往海边跑，这是一个很大的差异。那我就发现，这个危机意识对台湾来说是没有的。那台湾人其实最重要，我觉得要先加强他的危机意识，再跟他去谈说，你怎么样在这个过程中，去加强训练，然后让他愿意参加这个志工的行列。对，谢谢。
So actually, inside Tzu Chi, the gender issue is not an issue. It's actually Tzu Chi's feature, because in our volunteer composition, the female accounts for more than 60% of our volunteers. And you see our founder, she's a volunteer. She's a female, and I'm so proud and deeply grateful for working under a female spiritual leader. That's my point.
The conference organizers have banned me from speaking for too long, but I appreciate the question, Shirley, and I'll just mention one observation, and that is the question was what can we learn? What is the secret sauce here, right? If there's one thing that we really have to pick up and beef up on in terms of capability. And we've heard from our panelists and our speaker this concept that it's not can I do it, it's not who will do it, but what you need to do in order to do the job, to take action, right? It's about the willingness to take action and getting trained to take action, and above all, being trusted to take action, right? We talked about first responders. Everyone on stage here is in some ways a professional first responder, but we have to recognize that the true first responder in a crisis is that individual on the ground, is the residents, is the people in the community. And so the question becomes then, how do we empower and trust and facilitate everyone in the community to take that critical action, okay? Because that's what's going to make the difference. The professionals are very important, but there are only 17,000 firefighters in Taiwan, only 90,000 THW volunteers, only so many mustard seed and Tzu Chi volunteers, right? It takes all of us, all right? So the question then becomes, how do we enable and how do we create a mobilization process where people actually turn out instead of just talking about turning out? And I think that's something that each of our panelists can bring to the table and share with us. We don't have a whole lot of time, but I encourage all of you to find them during break and pick their brains, because I think this is really quite a valuable experience. We have 4 minutes. I want to be a little bit ambitious and maybe just take 1 minute, take one question, make it good. We've got a hand here, and then give our speakers a chance to give their final remarks through your question. So, tall task, Andreas.
Okay, I'll try my best. Hello, my name is Andreas Hofem. I'm the Deputy Director of the German Institute here in Taiwan. I've been here for several years now, and I observe the public discourse on resilience, and I cannot help but notice that this discourse is getting more grim and has a bit of a negative tendency. We have to resist, we have to be resilient, we have to be strong. There's disinformation, there's infiltration. So for me, there's one interpretation is that maybe to some degree fear is growing, and the best thing you can get out of fear is maybe resolve to resist. But still that remains kind of a negative narrative and raises the question, how do you motivate people to become active? Are you motivated by fear or by, well, the need to resist? And I think especially the civil society organizations present here managed to give a more positive narrative. And I would be interested in your experience, how to motivate people through positive messaging, and how to tell a story that really makes people want to participate. Because I think when I look at the wider discourse, that's maybe sometimes missing. Everything is a bit too grim and gray, whereas participation and engagement is something very positive and very empowering.
We just found our next topic for the next conference. So maybe we go down maybe we start with Mr. Yen and then the rest of the panelists.
Yeah, maybe I can share one of master teachings, which probably is probably a good explanation why Tzu Chi can mobilize our volunteers so quickly. Is Master always teach her disciples, we need to bear with the concept, feeling others' suffering as our own. So actually our volunteers, they don't need to motivated by authority. They're actually motivated by their unwavering commitment to our master's teachings. So this is a beauty part of the Tzu Chi. I would say that it's unusual way, It's like Professor Herman Lennon, he commented that Tzu Chi is not a traditional management education. Tzu Chi's model actually challenged many standard business schools education. So that is my 2 cents. Yeah.
那我想最后我这边也是分享一下，就是其实我们不会用太悲观、太负面的方法去推动社区去参与这件事，我们只会告诉他哪些事情是跟你自己有相关。那这些事情如果发生在你自己身上的时候，你应该怎么做？你应该怎么保护你的自己，保护你的家人？我们会从这个出发点去告诉他，那他愿意学习的这个程度就会提高。对。
It will be my personal answer because I'm not here able to answer that question on behalf of the governmental organization THW for all. I have to ask for your understanding of that. For me, personal fear is not something that makes me move forward or that helps me to change things. But looking back a little bit more than only the ages I'm at THW, in former time I've been a Boy Scout, or I'm still somehow a Boy Scout, and one of those main topics of a Boy Scout is just always be prepared. So I was trying to, for myself, be prepared for something. And in THW, I learned another motto. It's expect the unexpected, because you never know what, when you're going on a mission, for example, will be there on the ground. So having some of those helps me personally, those two or some others, of course, just to be motivated and to be kept motivated. And as I said, having the professionally staffed THW personnel in behind to keep it up and running. So that's my personal view.
Yeah, actually, this will be happen. We cannot predict it, but it will be happen. So how can we get well prepared? Is an issue we try our best from NTV. So we provide subject channel for the public education from Facebook, Twitter, Line, and so on. So we also learn a foundation. Something wrong, especially for the fire and lost their family. We will post it on the news, even for the Facebook. What's happened for them and what's going on? How can you do next? So it's we try to do, and especially for the major earthquake or major typhoon. When is what happened, then we can do something, and we will suggest to the public how can they do for next time. So we try to do. Actually, yeah, it's not easy, but when our general public will face with major disaster, it will be easy. for the public education. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd love to keep going, but unfortunately we are out of time. I couldn't have framed that last question better. I think a takeaway for our policymakers in the room here today is that this volunteer-based resilience model, leveraging what civil society has to offer, this approach is pretty cheap. Right? Doesn't cost you, will not cost us a whole lot of budget. However, we do have to answer that question that's just been posed. How do we motivate and empower and trust and engage civil society? And we've heard that there's no one right answer because civil society is diverse, right? That is the definition of our society. Some are motivated by faith, by the spiritual. Some are motivated by our concern for our family. Some want to learn and improve as individuals, right? They have their own ambitions. And some people want to be part of the community. And I think that's all part of the answer. And we have to do all of that in order to properly engage whole of society. I know this is an effort that is worth doing, that we must do, not just because when disaster strikes, this determines our ability to recover and this helps save lives, not just that, but also when we have a civil society that is engaged, where people volunteer, where people come together and work towards a common goal, that begins to repair our social fabric. And that is so important in this day and age when we're seeing democratic backsliding, democratic erosion from around the world. So I hope we can continue this conversation because it is a mission that we must stick to. And thank you all of us for thank you, every one of you, for being here with us. And will you please join me in thank you our speakers.
Thank you once again to our moderator and all the speakers. Would you please stand up and stand in the middle of the stage? Let's have a photo. Thank you once again for your valuable input in session 1. 再次谢谢我们的主持人以及我们台上的我们4位主讲人哦，带来这么精彩的讨论。请看向前方的镜头，一起合照。All right, let's have a photo together. And thank you once again. Okay. Thank you.